Every page is not just a day, it is an age.
Do you think working a few extra years after 60 is the smart choice? Hundreds of retirees have said the opposite. They don't wish they had more money. They wish they had retired earlier. A New York Life study revealed that 48% of people who retired between ages 62 and 70 admitted they wish they had stopped, on average, 4 years sooner. That's 4 years of health, memories, and experiences they can never get back. And the sad truth is this: the greatest regrets don't come from retiring too early, but from waiting too long. In today's video, I'll share the 5 psychological traps that keep so many people chained to their desk when they should be living the best years of their life, and more importantly, how you can avoid becoming another regretful statistic. If you believe this topic matters, hit the like button so I know it resonates with you. The first trap is the one more year mentality. One of the most common reasons people keep postponing retirement even when they are already financially prepared. Many individuals in their early 60s with strong savings and investment plans that show a very high chance of success, sometimes over 90%, still convince themselves to keep working just one more year. They believe that with an extra year of income, they will feel safer, more secure, and have a bigger cushion to guard against future uncertainties. In reality, the promise of one more year rarely stops at a single year. One client at age 62 had a financial plan with a 94% probability of success, meaning he was almost certain not to run out of money. Yet he could not shake the anxiety. He worried about the economy, about the stock market, about global uncertainty, and told himself that one more year of work would calm his fears. When that year ended, his uneasiness had not gone away, so he pushed the goalpost further and then again until 3 years had passed. By the time he finally retired at 65, the simulation showed his success rate improved slightly, from 94% to 96%. In other words, 3 extra years of work only bought him 2% more certainty on paper. Behind that number was a much heavier cost: 3 years of health, 3 years of energy, and 3 years of memories he could have created with family and friends. Those years were gone forever, traded for a marginal increase in statistical safety. The lesson of this trap is that we must learn to define what enough really means. Enough does not mean absolute certainty, because absolute certainty does not exist in life or in investing. Enough means having the resources to live comfortably and sustain your desired lifestyle without sacrificing your healthiest years for a small increase in probability. To get clarity, you can use planning tools that run simulations, such as Monte Carlo, where you can see different what-if scenarios. What if markets fall? What if inflation rises? What if you live longer than expected? This helps shrink irrational fears and shows that, in most cases, the difference between retiring at 62 or 65 is not life-changing financially, but it is life-changing in terms of vitality and quality of time. Once you understand that, you will see that the one more year mentality often adds very little security, but takes away some of the best years of your life. And that realization can give you the courage to retire at the right time. The second trap is the illusion of safety from a paycheck, a very common mindset among people who are on the edge of retirement, but keep clinging to their jobs simply because of the comfort that comes with receiving a steady income every month. This sense of security feels reasonable at first glance, because as long as the salary comes in, they do not have to touch their retirement savings, and they feel shielded from the anxiety of running out of money. The flow of income into their bank account convinces them that life is still under control. Yet behind that apparent safety is a heavy cost, and that cost is time. By continuing to work only to preserve the comfort of a paycheck, many end up missing the most precious family moments. The rare years when grandchildren are still young and want to be close, the trips and experiences that good health and energy still make possible. The story of a 63-year-old woman illustrates this well. She kept working because she believed her salary was the safest option, while her grandchildren were growing up in another state. She missed their first steps, their first words, the small milestones of childhood. And when she finally realized it, she knew those moments were gone forever. The truth is that real safety does not come from a monthly paycheck, but from a solid financial plan built on a smart withdrawal strategy, optimized Social Security benefits, and proper investment allocation. These elements can provide the same peace of mind, often more durable than a paycheck, but with the key difference that they allow you to enjoy your time with loved ones instead of sacrificing it in an office. It is important to remember that the real choice is not simply between working and not working, it is between guaranteed income and guaranteed time. Income can be generated in many ways. It can be managed and adjusted, but time is finite, and once it slips away, it can never be reclaimed. In the end, the most important measure is not the figure on your monthly statement, but the memories you create, the experiences you live, and the bonds you strengthen with those you love. Once you see this clearly, you will understand that the illusion of safety from a paycheck is nothing more than a trap, while true security lies in treasuring your limited time and using it wisely before it is gone. What's keeping you at your job, passion, or fear? Drop your answer in the comments below. The third trap is the identity crisis, one of the strongest psychological barriers for people who have spent their entire lives tied to their careers and job titles. For decades, they may have been known as the director, the manager, the doctor, the engineer, the teacher, or the entrepreneur, and these roles became the core of how they define themselves. When work stops, many feel as if they have lost their value, lost their purpose, even falling into emptiness because they do not know who they are without their job. This crisis does not only trigger financial worries, but also damages mental well-being because they mistakenly believe that retirement equals an ending. In truth, the opposite is correct. Retirement is not the end of identity, but a chance to broaden and enrich it. When you are no longer caught in the cycle of work, you create space to explore sides of yourself that busyness never allowed. You can spend time on neglected passions such as art, music, travel, or sports. You can nurture family ties and friendships that have long been put aside. You can become a mentor for the next generation, or simply a person who shares valuable life experience with the community. Retirement is the moment you are free to continue writing your identity in a new, meaningful, and human direction. The phrase "retirement isn't a finish line, it's a launch pad" sums it up perfectly. Retirement is not the finish, but the platform for a new journey where you are no longer defined by a title on a business card, but allowed to be yourself with complete freedom and creativity. When you truly understand this, you will see that retirement is not frightening at all. It does not strip away your identity. It opens the door for you to rediscover your true self, to nourish your soul, and to enjoy what your working life never gave you the chance to experience. The fourth trap is the success trap, a mindset that often affects entrepreneurs or high achievers who have been conditioned to constantly pursue the next victory. Even when they already have enough money, good health, and a secure future, they continue to push forward as if one more deal, one more contract, or one more expansion will finally complete their sense of accomplishment. The problem is that there is always another opportunity on the horizon, always another target to chase, and this pursuit keeps them locked in a cycle that steals the most precious asset they have, which is time. I once knew a business owner who at 65 had every reason to retire comfortably. His finances were strong, his health was excellent, and his family life was solid, yet he could not let go. He insisted on completing just one more big contract before stepping away, and then another opportunity appeared, and then another, until years began slipping away. He was so focused on maximizing financial wins that he failed to recognize he was already winning at life. What he did not see at first was that success is not about endless accumulation or chasing every chance to make more money. Real success is about balance, about what some call the magic triangle of money, health, and time. When these three are aligned, when you have enough resources to live securely, enough health to enjoy life, and enough time to spend with the people you love, that is when true success is achieved. If you overemphasize one corner of the triangle while neglecting the others, the whole structure becomes unstable. Many people have money and health but sacrifice their time, and by the time they finally retire, their health has declined and their ability to enjoy what they built has diminished. The lesson of the success trap is that more is not always better. Optimization is more valuable than maximization. Knowing when to stop and embrace the life you have worked for is itself a mark of wisdom and achievement. Retirement should not be delayed in the endless pursuit of another contract or another deal. Instead, it should be seen as the stage where you shift from building wealth to living fully. When you recognize that time is the only resource you cannot replenish, you can step away with confidence, knowing that true success is measured not only by the size of your bank account, but by the richness of your life account. If you were 60 today, would you sign one more contract or walk away? Share your thoughts in the comments. The fifth trap is the health reality gap, a misunderstanding many people have when they plan for retirement, as if their health will decline slowly and predictably over time. In reality, health often does not follow a neat downward slope. Instead, it can change suddenly and drastically, with illnesses or conditions appearing without warning and cutting short the years of vitality that people assume they will have. Too many individuals postpone retirement in hopes of saving more, only to discover later that their bodies no longer allow them to enjoy the things they once dreamed of doing. Research shows that the early 60s are often the peak active years of life, a period when people still have enough strength and energy to travel, hike, play with grandchildren, or explore long-neglected hobbies. Every year of delay in retirement is essentially a year traded away from these golden years of health in exchange for more money that may never be spent. A striking example is the person who looked forward to retirement and finally reached it in their 60s, began enjoying family and leisure, only to be diagnosed with a serious illness within months and pass away shortly after. Such stories highlight the fragility of our assumptions about time and health. The opportunity to live fully is not infinite, and while financial preparation is important, it should never blind us to the reality that health can disappear much faster than expected. The lesson is clear. Money can be accumulated later, budgets can be adjusted, lifestyles can be simplified, but once good health is gone, it cannot be bought back no matter how large the savings account. Retirement decisions should therefore take into account not only financial readiness, but also the precious window of physical well-being. The 60s are not simply another decade to keep grinding at work. They are the prime of life where the balance of health, energy, and freedom intersect. To postpone retirement in this stage is to sacrifice irreplaceable experiences with family and friends, memories that no amount of extra income can ever purchase. The health reality gap reminds us that the real risk is not retiring too early, but waiting too long, and finding that the time we thought we had has vanished. Recognizing this truth allows us to value our health as the priceless asset it is, and to step into retirement while we still have the strength to live it fully. How do you avoid the deep regret that so many retirees express when they say they wish they had stopped working sooner? Rather than chasing a maximum number that never feels quite enough, the wiser approach is to define your enough number. This concept is not about achieving an arbitrary goal of wealth, but about identifying the realistic level of resources you need to live securely and happily. The best way to do this is through running projections using tools like Monte Carlo simulations, which test thousands of different market scenarios to see whether your retirement plan would hold up under both good and bad conditions. If your plan shows a high probability of success, then you may already have more than enough, and the fear of falling short is simply a psychological trap. Another critical step is evaluating your health timeline. Look at your family history, your current physical condition, and your energy levels. Do not assume that your health will remain constant for decades. The truth is that while finances can often be improved later, health tends to peak in the early 60s and then declines unpredictably. If you delay retirement too long, you may find that the years when we could have traveled, played with grandchildren, or pursued hobbies have slipped away forever, replaced by limitations you did not anticipate. Equally important is calculating the opportunity cost of working longer. It is easy to see the salary you continue to earn, but harder to recognize what you are giving up. More years of work may mean paying higher taxes, missing out on strategic moves such as Roth conversions during the optimal window, or delaying Social Security optimization, strategies that could benefit you in the long run. Beyond the numbers, every year spent working is a year not spent building memories with loved ones or enjoying your freedom. If your grandchildren are growing up, what is the price of missing their childhood? If your health is robust today, what is the value of postponing a dream trip until your body no longer allows you to take it? Finally, have an honest conversation with yourself. Ask whether you continue working out of passion and purpose, or whether you are driven by fear, anxiety, or the need to prove yourself. If you love your work and it gives you joy, then by all means keep going. But if the only reason you remain is worry about money or uncertainty about your identity, then you may be trading your most vibrant years for comfort that could have been created by a sound financial plan. The ultimate reminder is this: you can always adjust your spending if money gets tight. You can downsize your home, delay a purchase, or live a simpler lifestyle. What you can never do is buy back time. Once the years of energy and health are gone, no amount of money will restore them. The wisest retirees are those who chose to retire while they still have the vitality to live fully. They optimized not for the largest bank account, but for the richest life. And by doing so, they avoided the silent regret that haunts nearly half of those who wait too long. The conclusion is not a call to retire immediately, but a reminder not to let fear steal your healthiest years. Almost half of retirees between 62 and 70 admit they regret waiting too long to step away from work. That regret is not about money, but about lost time, memories, and health. The happiest retirees are not always those with the largest nest egg, but those who had the courage to stop at the right moment. Retirement is not about giving up. It is about choosing to live fully while you still have the strength to enjoy life and the freedom to create lasting memories. Don't miss future lessons on living a fulfilling retirement. Subscribe now so you won't look back with regret.